It was the summer of 2018, and I was driving home after a long shift at the hospital. I worked the night shift back then, and my route took me through a stretch of highway that cut through the woods, a shortcut I'd taken 100 times before. But that night was different. It started with something small, something I almost didn't notice. But by the end of it, I wasn't sure if I'd ever feel safe again. It was around 2 a.m. The road was empty, just me and my headlights cutting through the darkness. The woods on either side of the highway were thick, almost suffocating. I remember thinking how quiet it was. No other cars, no animals, just silence. That's when I saw it. A figure standing on the side of the road, just standing there, motionless. I slowed down, thinking maybe they needed help, but as I got closer, I realized something was off. Their posture was wrong, slumped like they were broken. And their face, I couldn't see it clearly, but I swear it was turned toward me, even as I drove past. I told myself it was nothing, maybe a trick of the light or someone playing a prank. But deep down I knew something wasn't right. A few miles later, my car started acting up. The engine sputtered and I had to pull over into a rest area. It was one of those old abandoned spots, just a crumbling parking lot and a boarded-up restroom. I got out to check the engine, and that's when I heard it. A sound like whispering. It was faint, almost like the wind, but it wasn't the wind. It was coming from the trees. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. And then I saw them. Shadows, moving between the trees. Not animals, people. Or at least they looked like people. But the way they moved, it was wrong. Jerky, unnatural, like they were learning how to walk. I didn't wait to see more. I jumped back in my car and slammed the door shut. The engine started this time, thank God, and I sped off. But as I drove, I kept glancing in the rearview mirror. And that's when I saw them. Figures, standing in the middle of the road, watching me drive away. Their eyes, I swear they were glowing, just faintly like embers in the dark. I thought I'd lost them, but a few miles down the road I saw something that made my blood run cold. A car overturned on the side of the highway, and next to it, bodies, or what was left of them. They were torn apart like something had eaten them. I didn't stop. I couldn't. But as I drove past, I saw movement. One of the bodies, it wasn't dead. It was crawling toward the road, its head twisted at an impossible angle, and it was looking at me. I pressed the gas pedal to the floor and didn't look back. But the worst part, the whispering. It was back, faint but there, like it was coming from inside the car. I turned off the radio, but it didn't stop. It was in my head. And it wasn't just whispers anymore, it was words. My name, over and over. Sarah, Sarah. I finally made it home. I don't even remember the rest of the drive. All I know is that I locked every door and window, turned on every light, and sat in the middle of my living room clutching a knife. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't. Every sound made me jump. The creak of the house settling, the wind against the windows. But the worst part was the feeling. Like I wasn't alone. Like something was watching me. Waiting. The next morning I called the police. They searched the area, but they didn't find anything. No bodies, no overturned car, no things in the woods. They said it was probably just my imagination, stress from working long hours. But I know what I saw, and I know what I heard. That night changed me. I don't drive that road anymore. I don't even like being outside after dark, because sometimes when the wind is just right, I still hear the whispers, and I know they're out there, waiting, watching, and I can't help but wonder, what do they want? And why did they say my name? I don't have the answers. But if you're ever driving alone at night and you see something on the side of the road, don't stop. Just keep driving. And whatever you do, don't listen to the whispers. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in your nightmares.